I want to formally introduce myself. My name is Kristan Justice. I am a junior at Cheyney University. I'm also a communications and psychology major. And I'm absolutely honored to be able to conduct this interview with you and to be able to gain some of the useful knowledge you have to share. We can start with when did you enlist or get drafted?
Well, I enlisted in November of 1942.
Okay. And
I had to wait on account they had a quota to get into Tuskegee. I passed all my tests and everything. I enlisted in 42, but I had to wait till they called me. But they told me if I got drafted, let them know, and they would take care of it.
okay.
But it ended up, I did get drafted in April 43.
Okay. So you waited all that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Draft board got me first.
Mm-hmm.
And then sent me down to Fort Meade, Maryland. That was reception center.
Okay.
And that's where my orders to go to Tuskegee caught up with me.
Okay.
And they sent me from there to Tuskegee.
Oh, wow. When did you get discharged?
Actually, November 1946.
Okay. Do you have any other family members that were in the military, or?
Yeah, my brother John was in the Air Force. He retired. And my brother Tom, he was in the Navy during World War II.
Wow. Were they all drafted or they enlisted?
Tom, he enlisted.
Okay.
And John, as far as I know, he enlisted.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you about your civilian life prior to you being drafted. Can you tell me about the friendships that you and acquaintances that you made and acquired as a civilian prior to being enlisted?
Well, I was in school.
Okay.
Most of my friends were schoolmates.
Okay. And what about the friendships that you gained once you became enlisted?
They're mostly service because that's where I spent my time after I enlisted. I stayed in there almost 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And in December 45, I got married.
Okay.
And that resulted in one child. That marriage lasted a couple of years. I got custody of my daughter.
Okay.
And I moved back. My people were here in Morton. I moved back to Morton.
Okay. So what was your highest level of formal education?
Well, I went through high school, plus I got credit for the time I spent in the 20th College Training Detachment at Tuskegee.
Okay.
That was supposed to be equivalent to 2 years of college.
Okay. So would you have liked to have received higher education?
You mean after service or what?
Yes. Well, any kind of, you said you completed high school and that you got credit for 2 years. Would you have ideally wanted to go to college and do a formal education?
Well, I thought about it.
Okay.
I wanted to go be a mechanical engineer. That's what I thought.
That's what you wanted to do. So, how did the education that you received in your training help you in civilian life after you were discharged?
Well, times were hard, and I was married, and the only job that I got was with the Pennsylvania Railroad.
Okay.
I was living in Philly at the time, and this was at a freight transfer station up around 44th and Parkside, And I stayed there for, well, I guess almost a year, till things started to get hard. Every, they were having a lot of strikes in the country, and every time they had a strike, Pensy always furloughs a lot of employees.
Well, could you describe your basic training, and where'd you acquire basic training at?
Well, basic training we had in Biloxi at Keesler Field, Mississippi.
Oh, wow.
I stayed there for 2 months. 1 month was the basic training, and that second month I was waiting to be called to Tuskegee.
Okay.
And that was more or less vacation time, because we were on the base, but we had the swimming, back base swimming, and all that.
Okay.
There's more things on the base than outside in the town, as far as I was concerned, because I didn't get tied up with Jim Crow and all that down south. So the whole time I was there for the 2 months, I stayed on the base.
Okay. And how was that experience?
Well, it was nice. Didn't bother me, anything like that. I enjoyed basic training.
Okay. So can you describe to me, in the 2 months that you were there, after the 2 months, what happened? After your basic training was over and you said you had a month to wait. Then what happened?
Well, you mean the month that I had to wait, or
Well, after that.
after that?
Yes.
Well, we were sent to Tuskegee by train, and we were signed to the 320th College Training Detachment. That was at Tuskegee. And we were housed there for about 2 months, going to school. We had classes and everything.
What kind of classes?
Oh, English. Most classes, physical ed. I know what we didn't have. We had 4 or 5 classes that we took,
Okay.
and we were graded on those.
Wow. So, were you completely segregated as far as your outfit was concerned? And
Oh yeah, we were on the campus. There was nobody but colored people going to Tuskegee at that time. It was in the South.
right. So, what battles were you involved in after your education? Were there any?
What do you mean after him?
Well, you said you got your education. You had school where you were taking classes and things of that nature. When did you start ensuing in battles?
You mean suing service?
Yes, sir.
We after that little stint on the campus, we were sent to the base for pre-flight training,
Okay.
and that was more school. They taught you everything about aerodynamics and all that stuff you needed to know to fly. So we had 2 months of that,
Wow.
upper and lower pre-flight.
And how was that
And-
education?
Well, that was nice. That's strictly military.
So, was it the experience as far as aerodynamics? Were you learning a lot of things that you didn't think you would learn as far as how to fly an airplane and things of that nature? Was this a new experience for you that you felt was very rewarding?
Well, I looked at it, to me, I was young, so it was just like a job as far as I was concerned, till we got down to the flying training part of it. We continued to still go to school, all doing flight school. In the morning, we would go to school. In the afternoon, we fly. And that reversed itself all depending whether you upper or lower classmen.
Okay. And how many people were in your specific class?
I don't know. We started out, I guess we had about 70.
Wow.
About 70. We had about 70 members. Close to it.
Okay. I kind of want to know about your military service interaction and how your interaction was with white personnel, if you ever encountered them, and how did they treat you?
Well, on the base, I had no problem at all. All our flight instructors were white.
Mm-hmm.
And head of the cadet training school, he was white. I had no problems with them.
Okay.
They were there, they were military, and that's what they did.
And what about the other African Americans that you interacted with? Were there positive interactions with them as well?
Yeah, because only place I went there after we left the base, I would go to Tuskegee. That's the campus there.
Mm-hmm.
For anything I wanted to do. But I never, went in town looking around.
Okay.
Because I knew how they were.
Mm. So, did you interact with other, I guess, different like Marines and sailors and Coast Guards, or was it strictly Air Force?
Well, it was strictly Air Force.
So you never got to interact with any other branches of military?
Not doing training.
Okay. Outside of training?
Well, when I left Tuskegee, we went to Waldoboro, South Carolina, for our combat flight training. And then we had a few more white people to deal with there. And everything went smooth.
That's great. What was your highest rank achieved?
First lieutenant.
First lieutenant?
Mm-hmm.
And for those that don't know, could you explain what first lieutenant is?
Well, that's one grade above second lieutenant.
Okay. So did you ever do any flight overseas?
I flew 34 combat missions while in the 15th Air Force with the 332nd Fighter Group.
Okay. And some of those were overseas?
They were all
overseas. Wow. Okay. As far as your experience overseas, any places that were just memorable for you?
Sure. Naples, Rome,
Wow.
Milan. Nice places to visit.
Wow.
I imagine it's even better after the war.
Mm-hmm. Okay. As far as military and religion is concerned, were there any exposure to religious activities available for you all? Did you all have church on Sundays? Were you all able to practice your religion while in the military?
Well, we could go to church if we wanted to. They had services.
So they did provide service. And were you a religious man yourself? Did you attend church?
No, I'm not very religious. I attend services, but I'm not a religious man.
Okay. So, you said that in 1945 you married?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this was while you were still going through your training and all that?
No, this was after the war.
Okay. All right.
That was in December 45.
Okay.
1945. That was after the war.
So, as far as while in the war, what was your interaction with women in the different areas that you were traveling to? Were there women in, I guess, on the base with you?
No.
No, it was just strictly... The
all
people
men.
that were going through training.
Right.
Okay. So, what did you all do for entertainment while you were there?
Well, we had officers club we went to, and then we had the rest camps. They had a rest camp strictly for our outfit in Naples. It was a nice place.
Mm. And what was the rest camp like? What is that?
Oh, well, we had our own places it's like a small hotel where we roomed, and then we had a entertainment spot that overlooked the harbor there in Naples.
Wow.
And you could see Mount Vesuvius and all across the bay there.
Okay. And how about the food?
And well, food was nice. The only thing I complained was powdered eggs.
Mm.
That stopped me from. I stopped eating after the service. I stopped eating eggs for about 2 years till I get used to eating regular eggs.
Mm-hmm. So, how about the living quarters and conditions as far as living?
Well, you lived in a tent, so
Oh wow.
what can you say?
Mm.
You had outdoor latrines. You had showers, outdoor showers.
Wow. So that was a vastly different experience than from being home and then
Oh yeah.
living this way. So how'd you adjust?
No problem at all. You didn't think about it.
Okay. So, as far as supplies, how did you send letters back and forth? Were you sending letters back home, supplies coming in? How was that process? Did it take a long time for communication for those outside of base?
Oh, I can imagine it probably took a month or so.
They would censor the records.
Yeah, oh yeah, they censored your mail.
Yeah, and it was on.
You could write letters, regular letters,
Mm-hmm.
and they would censor your mail.
Oh
Then
wow.
You sent back home.
They would photograph it on microfilm. Remember? And that's the way we. And then they would ship it back in small packets, and then it would load up.
Yeah.
Real thin stuff. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. So, as far as getting through, were there any hard times that you were homesick, and how did you cope with that? No,
Homesick bothered me.
it did. You were
We were poor from the get-go, so when I went to service, I'm living.
okay. So, how about holidays? Did you go home for holidays? Were you on base for holidays?
But during the holidays, most times spent on the base, especially going through my flight training. You know, I didn't get home till after I graduated. I'd been in service about 1.5 years, and after I graduated, I came home. Then because I'm getting ready to go overseas.
Mm-hmm. And how long did you stay home?
I had about 30 days.
And how was that coming back home after you graduated? How was that experience?
No problem.
Okay.
It didn't bother me.
Were you received differently by everyone back home?
Oh yeah.
How was that? As far as did you come home in your uniform? And how was the...
Oh, you had to be in uniform during the war.
Oh, the whole time?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You
wow.
couldn't fit in your cities and walk the street.
Mm.
You had to stay. So you were in the service, you wore your uniform everywhere.
And how were you treated as a man in uniform?
As far as I know, nice. They were very nice to you. I never had any problems.
Okay. As far as your experience overseas, what kind of memories do you take from being a part of the Tuskegee Airmen and the kind of experiences that you encountered?
Well, the camaraderie was great. I mean, we had no problems between ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But when we went off base, a lot of times, you know, white Southerners, people in the service, they didn't want to salute a black officer and stuff like that. But the people that flew in those bombers, they respected us.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And when they found out, when it first started, they didn't know who we were. So we started escorting them, and they found out we were colored. So we didn't have any problems with them because we were on the Adriatic side of Italy, and our rest camp was over on the Mediterranean side. And the only way you would get over there, you either go by truck to go to rest camp. But those guys, they used to come to our base in their bombers and fly us over to Naples.
Okay. So, could you talk to me about black leadership in the military or in the Air Force and how that was? Were there those in leadership positions, and how were they treated by you all and by other white officers?
Well, we didn't have any problems because our commander was General, well, he wasn't General then, Colonel Davis. Benjamin Davis. He was a West Point man, and he was strictly military, believe me. You either did it his way or you'd be court-martialed. So we didn't have any problems with him. He had a lot of problems with higher up white officers in the command, but we never had any problems.
I think in light of young people learning so much about the history of the Tuskegee Airmen and all the contributions that you all have made, how does that now make you feel that years later there's a reflection of your accomplishments and, you know, a respect in history that you take place in?
Well, I'm just sorry it took so long to put it in the history books, because the majority of white people didn't know there were Negro pilots in World War II. Because I saw a piece on TV, history TV, where one of the pilot's daughters was in college, and one of the professors said there were no Negro flyers in World War II.
Wow.
I mean, he didn't know that.
That's amazing, that the lack of history that we do,
Right.
we're not getting. This is a question I think a lot of young people wonder. Is the movie Red Tails an accurate depiction? Do you feel like they did you all justice, and what is missing to give young people a sense of history?
Well, they had to jazz the film up, you know, for people to go see it.
Right.
Most of the stuff is right on. But that, what you call it, that white girl this guy used to go with, that could be, I don't know, because, I mean, I'm just one person, and then you got 4 squadrons in it with maybe 100, 200 people, so I don't know what actually happened. And that could be true, and then again, it's just something they might have threw in there to make it interesting.
But as far as the history and the struggle,
Well, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess there's a huge generational gap as far as what young people are doing now, what they understand, and some of the lessons you've learned that have molded your mentality. So what do you think you would like to see in this younger generation as far as lessons you've learned and what we should be learning?
Well, I think more of them should stay in school, because when they don't have anything to do and they think they know it all, that's when they get in trouble. when I came up, we didn't have all those distractions they have now.
Okay.
It makes it even worse.
So what do you think? A lot of adults will say that we young people are not conscious, and they are sort of don't think about consequences. So what kind of things besides education? What kind of things should young people be aware of when it comes to society and life?
Well, I think the parents should teach them
Mm-hmm.
more respect because a lot of the young people don't have respect for older people.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't give a damn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think. Do you feel like you are seeing a growth in young people as far as trying to become leaders, trying to do positive things, and acting as good role models?
Well, there's quite a few. Well, I read the papers. I know there are a few out there trying to help younger people.
Okay, and
A lot of organizations
that are doing good work.
doing good.
So, what about being a vet, and how's that experience?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good experience. I belong to the Veterans Foreign Wars. That's a good organization, and they teach you a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. What qualities from your service still remain in what you do today? What kind of things are you still very organized and formally trained as far as your lifestyle now? Are those the kind of things that you took from your training and from your experiences? What things do you take and still apply today?
Well, I do the same things I did when I went in the service.
Mm-hmm.
Always do the best you can.
Mm-hmm.
And that's worked with me all through my life.
Okay.
And I got awards for everything I did. From Boeing Company, the VFW.
Okay. What kind of awards have you received and recognitions have you received from your service?
From my service,
Mm-hmm.
well, I guess good conduct, as far as that's concerned, everybody receives, had an honorable discharge, had
Mhm.
good conduct, and all of that. But I always respect people in service.
Mm-hmm. What other awards outside of service have you gotten? I see a lot of memorabilia and things on your walls.
No, this is Boeing. I worked for Boeing for 41 years.
Wow.
And some of the awards I got up there.
Okay. What things would you like to see done for a better world? As of now, I know we have a lot of headway we're making as far as trying to make the world a better place, but what things do you want to see done to get there?
Well, I'm telling you, that's a rough question. I think people should respect people, others. Really do respect. I really believe in that.
What legacy do you want to leave for the world to have your name attached to? What is your legacy?
Well, just do the right thing and be the best you can.
That's a
And
powerful
to
message.
just treat people right.
Okay, well, I certainly appreciate your time and the questions that you've answered.
Thank you.
Thank you for answering them.